Hi, Dr. Ruth Anderson here with Enlightened World Network. We are celebrating a day of tenacious leadership here. I'm here with my beautiful colleague, Teri Angel, and we are honoring Mira Rubin and Diana Beyersdorfer. Now, they have really no idea what we're going to be talking about here today. This is so much fun. But truly for me, I really dislike the Emmys and the Golden Globes, that the whole Academy Awards season. I dislike it because there are so few people who are honored for the work that they bring into the world. And it has always bothered me that real people, teachers and firefighters and just real people, nurses doing the job, doing the work in the world, aren't being acknowledged during the award season. And so tenacious leadership is our way of saying, we're honoring you for the work that you are bringing into the world. So please allow us to honor you during this next hour together. Back in February, Archangel Michael gave us the title of Tenacious Leadership and asked that we acknowledge the efforts and the impact of fellow lightworkers. And I asked Archangel Michael, what is tenacious leadership to you? Because that was the title, so loud and clear, tenacious leadership. And I was told persistence, stalwart. I thought, stalwart? I've never used the word stalwart in my life. So I looked it up and it said, someone who is loyal and strong, reliable and sturdy. An example of stalwart was a loyal supporter of a cause. And in this case, the cause is the spiritual development of others. Okay, so that's the framework of where we're coming from today. Then COVID-19 took hold and changed how we all view the world. During these times, it would have been so easy for you both to just stay frozen in the uncertainty, to wallow in the fear and to stay stuck, to stop putting yourselves out there as a teacher or a guide. But it was during these times that you all chose instead to hone your calling and to step up from a place of heightened knowingness, that your voices needed to be heard now more than ever. I often refer to leaders as someone who comes to the table. You two are leaders, there's no question. But you are so in tune to the divinity and open to hearing the call that you redefine your ministries to serve even a greater good. This leadership, this tenacious sense of leadership, has made a large difference in the lives of others. So each week for this series, we're talking with different spiritual leaders that we know here at EWN who've devoted their time and energy and defined their lives by selfless service to others. So today our guests are Diana Beyersdorfer of the Beyersdorfer Institute and Mira Rubin. Both women have presented multiple times on EWN, both in meditations and courses, shows. So welcome. We're so glad you're here. Thank you for allowing us to honor the work that you're bringing into the world.
Thank you.
So we'll start with Diana. Diana, what are you currently bringing into the world?
Oh, wow. Whatever I'm told. Honestly, I just sit back and I show up. That's what I seem to find is my theme these days, is whatever that the ideas come in, and usually they come out of a deep place of, I don't know if everyone else is on this roller coaster ride of emotion, but but we just seem to be going through a deep healing, and that deep healing is quite often very painful. And the things that we're going through are just examples of what the rest of the world is going through in different ways. You know, we're all suffering right now. So with so many things that are going on and so much loss and so much pain, we show up. And in the process of showing up, we're given guidance to put out a different class, put out a different, just talk. Every day when I get on there, it's like, I have no idea. Like, I don't know what you want from me today. And some days it's difficult. Some days I'm like, what am I going to do? It's stepping aside. It's truly opening up to spirit, opening up to source, and just being present and allowing that energy to channel through, the messages just to come through, and just to be an open vessel. And so that's what I'm doing through classes. This voice of the spirit has been powerful. The people that are in there, they're opening to their gifts in the most beautiful ways. We've formed such beautiful bonds with each other, and it's just a powerful time. thankful to be here and to be allowed to be a part of it. So.
Well, we love having you here, and it has been so much fun to watch you explode in various ways, whether it's a new show, whether it's creating the Beyersdorfer Institute, and truly so much of this has come into place since COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
Really kind of fascinating to watch. And we're going to talk about your shows in just a minute. But Mira, what are you currently bringing into the world?
Well, I think very much like Diane. I when COVID hit, I thought, what can I do? What can I do? What can I say? And so you presented me with an opportunity to just have a platform to be talking to people about all of our experience with COVID, with Black Lives Matter, with awareness, with just being physical. And so, like you, Diana, I don't know what I'm saying until a few minutes before. Pretty much every day, it's a surprise to me what I'm going to be speaking about. But I connect and find whatever words there are. And I also have a program where I work with people on a very deep level, and I'm seeing transformation through that as well. That's very profound, and I reach out to lots of people to share that. And yeah, so what I'm bringing to the world is awareness and greater ease. That's my hope.
And Mira, you have a show with us here at Enlightened World Network, and it's called The Core Connection with Mira Rubin. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, so that's really what I was talking about with showing up on a daily basis at 9 a.m. Eastern time during the week. And there are topics from suffering to listening to being rather than doing, all kinds of really impactful life topics. And so much of it is really through my own personal exploration as well. So it's kind of a peer type, let's explore together approach.
Well, and one trait of tenacious leadership is going forward when it's out of your comfort zone. Did you feel pushed outside of your comfort zone when you took on this show of Core Connection?
I did. I absolutely did. And on a daily basis. I mean, I really got to get over my sense of any shyness that I had, any sense of self-criticism. Just to show up and be in service really is more to rise to that calling and beyond myself, beyond any opinions that I had about me, to just connect.
Yeah, thank you. Diana, let's go through your shows. We'll just do one at a time. So the first one, Come to the Playground.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell us?
Okay, well, Come to the Playground is sometimes a free-for-all of who knows what's going to happen. It's getting into Diana's head, and whatever kind of emotion, I really feel like I go through these things every day, these lessons, and some of them are really deep and painful. And I don't hold anything back, really. Some days I'm like, did I really just say that? Because it's all about me being right there in the trenches with everyone else and just saying, hey, I'm no better than anyone else. And I'm going through it. And so we're going to try to get through this together. And it started, like you said, that was COVID. That was like, okay, we're all going through something horrible here. Let's see if we can't support each other through it. So that was the beginning of that. And it's just discontinued. It's a beautiful gathering. I just feel like I'm just getting together with friends every day. And we're just chatting and we're helping each other. And then we always get pulled into some kind of a meditation. Our playground is turned into fairy tale land or whatever, wherever we want to go, into some kind of great imagination. And there's always clearing and healing. And it's just a beautiful time of just stopping, like stopping everyone. Step out of life for a few minutes. Let's just be together. So that's the first one.
Beautiful. Okay. What about forever after that?
Forever after that is really, I've come to the place where forever after that seems to be morphing, because it wasn't me in the first place. This was really Steve. Steve is, it's almost September 6th is the 4th anniversary of my husband's death. And he was very much still, he's still very much a part of my life, except we've evolved. He's evolved a great deal. He's pulled me along with him. We both really evolved in the communication between us. The sense of him is more, he just feels like pure source energy. And so that energy is a part of that show. And whether I pull someone else in that wants to sit and chat with me, or I have days when it's like, okay, he just wants this to be his show today. And so we might do card readings, or we might just allow for whatever messages. I'll go sit in the woods with him, and whatever wants to come through comes through. So I that's how, the only way I can explain it is it's really Steve's show. It feels as if it's his energy that comes through.
Okay. This is
Always
cool.
a surprise to me too.
All right. And silent mystics.
Silent Mystics is all about bringing a voice to those people who have not found a platform yet. So we're speaking to people that haven't had a chance to have any kind of a show, but they have a beautiful story. Everyone has a story, and so many of us are coming out now. It's like we've been hiding our gifts, our abilities for so long. We haven't been able to show the truth of who we are. And now as I work with people, it's like, and all of us, that when we're working with people, we're like, wow, like you're really gifted. And so it's all about giving them a voice so that they can get out there and start sharing their story too. So that's what that one is. And it's a lot of fun. That one's more fun, I think, than any of the other ones, because we just never know what's going to happen.
And you're doing that with Geraldine Heatherdale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And it's just a fun combination. She's brought people to me because she has we both have different circles, obviously. So we're bringing different people in, and we get to know. It brings it into Enlightened World Living. So then we have EWN, Enlightened Living, let me say that correctly. So then they are pulled into all of this whole circle too. And I've seen so many people that have come through all of us, that we just have different connections, and I'm loving that. I'm loving watching all these connections come together. I don't know if you guys are noticing it, but it's like there's such a network growing from all of this. So
Yeah, it's beautiful. It feels like each show has its own little community attached to it. Yeah, it's very cool. Teri?
So there really was a before COVID. Sometimes we forget that fact, don't we? So did your work change as a result of COVID and the shutdowns? Mira?
Well, I actually think that I started the show when COVID hit, like as a response to COVID. So it changed in a big way because I decided to just be there for people and to be a foil through which people could experience what they were experiencing in in the world and in themselves and in their own personal transformation and their own struggles and triumphs. And I talk a lot about choice and sovereignty, and how to exercise choice in the face of struggle or fear, or the things that so many of us have been facing through COVID. So I think that it has absolutely shaped the message, for sure. And also, I have moved my pretty much my whole life is online now. So that's really remarkable, because I have a much richer sense of community than I did before, ironically, and more connection than before, because we have so many virtual environments and communities to connect to. So that's been really quite remarkable.
Yeah, that's a shift I think that we've really noticed big time. It's how the communities have come together. Yeah. What about you, Diana?
oh yeah, before, and I've known you for almost 4 years. I met you right after Steve died. So I've definitely been evolving. And so then COVID comes along. I had been through such a kind of a transitional phase here, just got to the mountains. I mean, I got into this house like 2 weeks before shutdown. So, so for me, it was like I was just coming to a place where I was really going to be focusing a lot more on my spiritual work. And then all of a sudden COVID happened, and it's like, boom, you know, like now you're going to do it. And so it really was the energy that pushed me to the daily getting up. And I have to say, I give props to all of you because I've been doing live shows for a long time, but nobody could ever make me do it at a set time. Like, not even Source, you know, they're like, yeah, you got to get on there. And I'm like, well, I will eventually. And I would always be like, when I felt it, it was like, now I got to do it right now. You know, channeling, you're like, oh, the message is here right now. I got to get on. So this has forced me to slow down, to every day come in, and at a certain time. It's grounded me a great deal, realizing I've grown from it by doing this, of being able to say, you know what, that message is going to be there when the time is right. It's going to be there. It's going to come through clearly. I don't have to be like this, you know, like it's coming out right this second. It can evolve, and it's not going to go away. So definitely COVID changed the way that I operate in a really good, a much more organized way. Let's just say that it really put a lot of fire under my feet. Made me start doing it the right way.
Did you all, we're going to start with Diana, did you ever see yourself as being a spiritual leader?
No, people would tell me a few years ago, if you knew me back before when I was with Steve, and now I'm not the same person anymore. So it's taken a whole lot of, I remember when I was a writer, I would always write. But to be in a place of, I remember when I first started hearing that, no, you're going to go live, or you're going to put your face, you're going to be speaking live. And I'm like, no, wrong person. I'm really shy. I'm not going to do that. So for me to be here now doing this is a total transition. And I see other people. That's why I like Silent Mystic shows like that, because I can see that spark in other people. And I love to be that person that Johnny gives them, come on in. It's okay. It's not as scary as you think, because there wasn't anybody for me like that. I just had to start. I started in a dark room. Nobody could see me. And I was like talking quietly. And if I look back at early videos, they were so silly and so unprofessional. It's just stepping into it, and to have people now, all of you, and to have someone to support, you know, I can see where this is. It's really, truly such a gift. Can I answer your question?
Yeah. Mira, did you ever see yourself as becoming a spiritual leader?
It's funny because I did some channeled writing years ago. And it came through that was my future. And I found that very shocking. And I don't know that I see myself as a spiritual leader in this very moment. You know, I see myself as someone who is sharing a journey with a lot of people together, really. This has been a path of unfolding for me, and really just trust, expansive trust. And it's unfolding. I don't know where it's headed. I don't know about the spiritual leader thing still.
It's all unfolding, like you said. So Diana, speaking of leadership, you were inspired to become a leader in a different way with opening up the Beyersdorfer Institute. Can you tell us about that?
Well, Ruth and I think that's where it really started to get. About a year ago, I actually had an inspiration to begin some kind of a academy or something with training. I actually saw something like Hogwarts. I wanted some magical, you know, I could just see us coming together with something. It really wasn't time yet. The energy I had a lot of lessons to learn. And so now here it was a year later, and it was like, you know, I think that there's something here. And so as we talked, it feels as if, and I love the idea of honoring Steve. It feels as if every time, one thing that we've noticed is the people that are teaching classes, that there's a different energy. It's attached to it. So it feels as if there's such a beautiful bond and connection, and just the right people are being led to the right classes, and we're growing in such a beautiful way together. I like to say, well, I don't feel like, I don't even take the credit for this. I feel like this is energetically more, it's bigger than me. I'm just, as I said earlier, I'm just showing up. I'm here. Whatever you want me to teach, I'm here. But everyone that comes into it is equally just as important as I am. And we're just creating, we're just doing what spirit, what source directs us to do. So I, like Mira, I think that's important to say that. I don't know. Like I remember when I first started putting my face out there, it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And it's a great thing. By not knowing that, let's go of that, you know, like close that off for a while and just let yourself go, you know, just be there. So that's what the Beyersdorfer Institute for me is all about. I'm just letting the energy move it in the direction that wherever, and I'm okay with that. I'm just relaxing into it.
But it's fun to look back and go, holy cow, look at what all has happened in the last year or in the last 3 months.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. It's very cool.
Mhm.
So ladies, Marianne Williamson has written a piece, and here's a small excerpt that I think really speaks to us and what all we bring. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your plain small does not serve the world. I love that last line. Your plain small does not serve the world. So I'm going to start with Diana. Diana, what advice can you offer to someone who is nervous or feeling unworthy to step into their calling and put their message out into the world?
They have to realize, and I think that's the most important thing that I always teach at Beyersdorfer Institute. And until you learn this lesson, you're not going to be able to do it. You have to look in the mirror and say, I love you. You have to learn to love your voice, to love your face, to look beyond the physical and look deeper and know that there's something that's so amazing and incredible inside of you that's every bit as amazing and incredible as anyone else. And that beautiful spark inside of you needs to be shown just like everyone else's. It's a beautiful light. So you just open to it, relax into it. And man, just, you know, if you can't find it, start every day. I love you. Look in the mirror. I tell them, put sticky notes everywhere. I love you. You've got to learn to love you, because until you learn to love you, it's just, you can't fully put yourself out in the way that you, and then once you do, then when other people look at you, they see that love, they reflect that love too, and they're starting to love themselves better. And that's what it's all about, is we're reflecting for each other. So that's my step one.
That's great. And Mira, what about you? What advice do you have for somebody who is not feeling worthy of coming out and sharing themselves with us?
Well, one of the things that is the foundation of my work is that we all have a mission and a purpose. And if you have that sense of self, you have that voice, or that's calling from inside you and calling you forward, that's your gift. And when you accept it, that's when you will really get your life in a way that you never otherwise would. That's what happened for me, is when I accepted my calling and stepped into it, it gave me my life. It gave me resilience. It gave me uh, strength and courage. And in stepping into that, you will gain love for yourself. You will see yourself. You will better experience who you are. And it's okay to be frightened and do it anyway. And the rewards are so much greater than any fear you might experience. So the world needs us all to share our gifts now more than ever. And I believe that's the path to really creating the world we want to see, is to step up and step into each of our individual missions and sense of purpose. So just do it. That's really my advice, is recognize that the service that you provide in sharing your voice is so much greater than the fear that you have for it.
And I think for me, and I don't know if you all had the same experience, yes, I had my fears. and my doubts about my abilities and, was I worthy to put myself out there? But the day that it became more painful to stay quiet than it did to come out, that was a turning point for me. Did you all have that day?
Absolutely. I mean, it really was for me what I realized in the moment that I made that choice. I realized that I was afraid, and some voice inside me said, but you could die. And I mean, that extreme. And inside, I realized that I was dying without that. And I really chose life when I chose to step into that unknown of sharing my voice and being responsive to the call of my soul or whatever it was that was calling me forward.
Diana, did you have that day as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think you get, well, physically, physically, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but when there's a message coming through, when you start turning, like I was just like, when I started working with Paul, it was like, okay, whatever it is, whatever I'm here for, because I got nothing left to lose. I mean, I've lost everything, and Steve was everything to me. I lost everything. So what do I got to lose anymore? And so I was like, all right, whatever I'm still here for, bring it. Like, I'm really a glutton for punishment, truly, because when you do that, they really bring it. But then as I was getting, as the messages were here, it was like, no, you gotta speak that. You can't just hold that energy in. And I hear that from other people all the time. They'll call me, they're like, what is going on with me? Why do I feel like this? I'm gonna supernova if I don't do something about it. That's what you feel like. The energy grows so big inside of you that if you don't find a way to let it go, to share it, you just feel like that's going to be the end of you. You're going to be a part of the universe. You'll just explode. So physically, yes, painful. It was just time. And I do find that by sharing, oftentimes we come together, it's it's dual fold. It's like by giving we receive. When we go on and we share with people and we meditate with people and we give, and then in the process of doing that, we're also receiving and healing at the same time. So it's all just such a beautiful circle.
Great. Teri?
Yeah, well, I think for me too, it was the day I heard to don't die with your music still inside of you. And I don't know where that quote came from or who said it, but it really struck a chord in me. It's like, you have a message. We all, like Diana said earlier, we all have stories. We all have a message. And so why are we keeping that inside to really let that run free? But as leaders, as those who put ourselves out there a lot for others, we have to fill our reservoir, don't we? So how are you filling your reservoir so that you can be constantly there, constantly on, and sharing of yourself? And Diana, let's go to you first.
Nature. That's why I'm here in the mountains. That's why energetically I'm so different here. I was talking about that actually this morning, because I feel like when you take the time, I traveled everywhere, to the Ireland, to England. I was all the way across the country last year. I was all the way to Sedona and the Grand Canyon, all these different places looking for me, looking for my place. Spent a lot of time in California. Nothing felt right. This has always been the place that I needed to be. So here, I refill my resources by going out into the troll bridge or wherever. There's the cutest little fairy forest that I call it, and just sitting in it and just letting that source energy just wash over me, so that by the time I come back out of there, I'm like, okay, ready to go. And if I'm not doing that, you better believe that I'm having a day when I'm like, I just can't do it today. So it's just really, I go to nature. I'm a nature baby.
Beautiful. How about you, Mira?
Meditation, and there are some other practices that I do that support me. Cooking, believe it or not, really helps to nourish me. I love playing in the kitchen and making fermented foods, and that actually really nourishes me. And of course, being in nature and taking photographs, which helps me to be present in a very different way, even to the beauty that I see. And beauty nourishes me very deeply. So, yeah.
Ladies,
And actually, oh, I'm so sorry. Actually, the work that I do with my clients is actually really nurturing to me. It's inspiring to be seeing people transform. That uplifts me and it fills me. And it's like Diane said, when you give, you get back. And that's huge. I can go through an entire day with people back to back and not be tired at the end of the day because of that exchange, it's just very nurturing.
thank you. Ladies, thank you so much for being here with us today. I hope that you feel honored in the way that we have wanted to honor you. If folks want to follow your work, Mira, how do they find you?
My website is yourcoreconnection.com, or people could text my name, Mira, to the phone number 64600, and they'll get all kinds of connection information.
Okay, interesting. Thank you. Diana, how do folks find you?
Well, if you can spell it, and it's right there underneath me, Beyersdorferinstitute.com. I'm also on Facebook, and we have a Beyersdorfer Institute Facebook page, but you can message me, you can look up my name if you can spell it. And I apologize, I know it's really long, but that's how you find me.
Okay, thank you. Ladies, thank you so much for the work that you are bringing into the world and for letting your light shine on Enlightened World Network. Teri and I so appreciate everything that you all are doing. And we're proud to be standing next to you, arm's length as soul sisters in this work that's happening across the planet. Thank you. And to all of our friends, thank you so much for joining us today. We love having you with us here at Enlightened World Network. And with that, we're going to say God bless and take care.
Thank you so much.